Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormy B Man for this Monday, January 5th, 2026. This is the first show of the new year, and this is number 149 in the series of Nerds as we come in with a review of a film from 1994, Surviving the Game. This film was groundbreaking for the time that it was released, and it was an opportunity to take audiences by storm because it's not a new story. It's loosely based on a 1924 short story by the name of The Most Dangerous Game, written by Richard Connell. This film can be considered a thriller. It stars Ice-T, Rutger Hauer, Charles S. Dutton, John C. McGinley, William McNamara, and Gary Busey. We're going to talk about this film in detail. There may be a few people who are not aware of this, and if you happen to be amongst those, this is a must-see, especially for the times we're living in right now. But even more so, because this is not about entertainment. It's about the world that we live in our society, and how people are pawns in a greater game. And if you are not aware that the earth is the board, you better get informed. So with that being said, I want to introduce my co-host and partner in crime. We got Drew Titan in the building with me this evening. What's going on with you, Drew? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Another day, another dollar. You already know, man. Already know. We great, man. And this is nice '90s film, and this is one of the it's one of the movies that I'd like to say, other than New Jack City, this was another banger from Ice-T, which made us take him more serious as an actor. For a moment, we thought he was going the action route. New Jack City played into his because he's hip hop from birth,
Right.
but this showed his versatility as far as Hollywood in the action realm. So this was very, very fun to watch. Very fun to watch.
I remember seeing this in the theaters, and I do believe it was the trailer that kind of drew me in and said, okay, I'm gonna go check this out. But upon seeing this in the theaters, it really made me, at the time, take a different look at our society and say, wow, it really kind of lays the law of the land about the pecking order of classes of people. And I don't think we should gloss over that, because even in today's time, where we have so many people who have become sheeple followers and run-of-the-mill, mundane, uninspired, cattle-like, and dare I say, that term, cattle-like, applies heavily to this film, because as we explain what the breakdown of the plot is and how these characters that I read the names of the actors playing the most prominent roles, we were given keys to a part of our society that many people don't know exist. But once they put something in film, it's just a way of desensitizing the public and the masses that, hey, this is real, and it goes on. Whether you want to receive it or not, it is right there before you. So before we get into the plot, would you like to speak on anything that this film did for you after your initial viewing of it?
When you're watching films, you can't help but to imagine if you was in that situation. You know what I mean? and I'm talking about not because Ice-T's character, the reason why he got picked up to be in this game was because they thought he was a certain way. We're going to get to that. But the action side of it, it's like, man, what the hell would I do and how would I handle this, man? I guess this is something that you consider when you get older. You're more of the, I want to see stuff blow up and how does the hero win and everything else. But when you get a little older, you start to say, man, this is sick. This is sick what they're doing. Is this why homeless people are disappearing off the street? They're really doing things like this? What is going on? It makes you think things on a certain level. Another movie we got to talk about is 2012. There's one aspect when you're young going into it, you're like, man, things are blowing up and buildings are falling. But as an adult, you're like, man, that body count's kind of high. Good Lord. But in reference to this film, this was I'm not gonna say groundbreaking, and I'm familiar with the short story, the Most Dangerous Game. Haven't read it, but I'm familiar with it. I didn't know that this movie was based off of that. But damn, man, this if you haven't seen this movie, watch it from beginning to end. Don't get distracted. Put your phone down. And man, it's like, what is There was a point in time, I know out here in New York, where, you know, when it gets cold, like right now it's like 30 degrees outside, but there's a point where I forgot what the rule is. Once it hits like, I think 20 degrees and below, you got to get the homeless people off the street. And that's when a lot of them just go down to the subways, because it's warm down there in the wintertime. And they don't want that, because you got all kinds of EDPs and mostly disturbed people down there. So it's a pain in the ass getting them to go to the shelters, because the shelters, they all fight with each other, and it's crazy. But there was a point where the homeless people were like not in abundance one year. And the question was, where the hell did they go? And then a couple of months later, people were running around setting them on fire. We had to deal with that in the city. And not for nothing, by then, it was years later after this movie. And I remember talking with some coworkers. It was like, yo, you remember that movie Dangerous Game? He was like, yeah. It's like, yo, for all we know, some wealthy people came up to these homeless people, was like, yo, you want to make $10,000? And they're like, oh, what do we got to do? Well, you know, hop in this car. They drive them upstate somewhere in Schenectady. Yo, go run in this forest. And if you can get a mile out, we'll give you $10,000. You know, who knows, man? I mean, things like that, I hate to say, there's cycles in the human mind. And sometimes when you're in a different tax bracket and you're used to getting things a certain way, it takes more for you to get your mind right. It's, you know, you call it thrill seeking or whatever. And people in that tax bracket have a mentality to match, and they do a lot of weird things, like bungee jumping, like skydiving, like eating scorpions with the poisonous tails on it. Yes, I've seen that. And you know, going into the safari and hunting lions and things like that, because normal things don't get them off. And this movie is about people that are along those lines. You saw that, y'all saw that movie Hostel? I mean, This is some scary stuff, but these things come from somewhere.
Which is another one of those films we got to cover that one as well.
Yeah,
because that's a film that you know, it's right up the alley of, like, when we start doing content speaking on subjects of particularities, and this being one, Hostel will definitely be another. So I've already got that in the queue as well. I want to take a quick moment and welcome our brother, our leader out there, the General 78. He decided he would like to join us for this discussion on surviving the game this evening. Welcome to the show, 78. How you doing this evening?
Appreciate you, bro. Hey, man, I'm just chilling, man. I saw the title. I said, oh, yeah, this is one of my favorite movies. My favorite movies, man. And like what Drew was saying, this definitely happens in real life. You know what I mean? And that's why when the movie came out, I had heard so many stories like this that when this movie came out, I was like, whoa. First thing I did was, you know, tell my pops, like, pops, and he said, I already know. Because he used to tell me, him and my uncles used to talk about, I used to listen to them talk when they be sitting around the table drinking or doing whatever, you know, playing cards. And they would tell stories about these girls, like crackheads, you know, dope fiends and homeless chicks, but girls they used to go to high school with, they got hooked on the drugs and stuff like that. And oh, whatever happened? Oh man, last we heard, you know, she hooked up with some rich white dude, man, and she said she was going hunting. And I don't know what she going hunting for. Ain't nobody seen her again. Disappeared. I mean, and this is multiple chicks that they were saying, well, this was happening in the 80s in Milwaukee, right? Like multiple chicks. When crack first got blown up and chicks were doing anything for money, man, them chicks were disappearing. And all of them had the same story. It was rich white dudes. It was, oh, I came up. I'm with a rich white dude. So when this movie came out in the 90s, it just hit all that stuff. I'm like, bro, this stuff been happening in real life.
That's right.
Crazy.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about it a little bit, man. I'm gonna give a quick background on the plot of the film, as we get ready to speak on it more, let me take this overlay off. I want to see Ice-T was the star of this film, and playing a homeless man. And you see there in this photo here, this image capture is Charles S. Dutton with him. The two of these men in the early 90s, their careers really took off. And Charles S. Dutton in particular, for the background that he came from, and to be able to carve out a little space for himself in Hollywood without compromise, it's really a story that should be told. There maybe even a film made about this man, because he was a real powerful, strong figure at a time when our community and culture needed someone like that, also with the type of background and experience that he brought to what he was doing, and his ideas for programs, movies, and things of that nature, where he wanted to tell stories and get information out there from a different point of view and angle. And a lot of people are just not in the know about this gentleman. But in this film, he played one of them characters that you would love to hate, because he was a evil SOB in this film. Getting to the plot, it goes as Jack Mason, played by Ice-T, is a homeless man from Seattle, Washington, and he loses his only friends, his pet dog Mingo and fellow vagrant Hank, within a day of each other. The dejected Mason attempts to commit suicide, but is saved by Walter Cole, played by Charles S. Dutton, who witnessed Mason avoid the soup kitchen Cole is working with. Cole refers him to businessman Thomas Burns, owner of Hell's Canyon Outfitters. Burns offers Mason a job as a hunting guide. Despite his initial misgivings, Mason accepts. Now, I'll stop right there and allow you brothers to chime in with your thoughts, because you know the old saying, anything that sounds too good to be true probably is. Right?
Yeah.
And that fits pretty prominently here. I mean, your thoughts on that, Drew?
The first thing I thought of was, like, you know, the general said, when you're in a desperate frame of mind, you're not worried about the bad. You're looking at what you can get good out of it, and hopefully you can get out with your life. And that leads, most people on the street are desperate. They're desperate. And Ice's character was in a desperate, a weak mental state, and he was desperate and partially suicidal. He just didn't care. He didn't give a F. And that was the premise of the film. They were going there because you can't talk to a normal person and give them that offer. They go to people that have nothing to lose and anything to gain. If they could come up $5, they're with it. You remember when we was in Vegas, when we drove through that little area, it was like 100 degrees outside, and there was homeless people there. I mean, you could have walked up to them and say, yo, I got $20, just run out to the street and then run back. They'd do it. You know what I mean? If you remember back in the day, in the 90s, there was a phenomenon on, not online, this was before online, they were selling these things. You remember Girls Gone Wild?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Those guys made millions off of that. Those girls came back and tried to sue later, but they couldn't do it. But do you remember something called bum fights?
I was just gonna say
Yes.
that. Bum fights,
Yeah, bum fights.
Yeah, I mean, that shit was dangerous, man. That shit was, you laugh at the commercials, but then my boys ran out and really got the tapes, and we were like, oh no, it was bad. It was bad. They running down hills and hurting themselves, knocking teeth out. It was crazy. And the people actually got arrested behind that. There's like a documentary about that. But you know, that's what this movie reminds me of. You know, bum fights. They run around. They said, all right, you know, you can't get normal people. Go get the people that have lost everything. Nobody's gonna miss them. They're on the street. And when I was working, and we was like, yo, you know, there's not that many homeless people this month. Where the fuck are they? I mean, these were homeless people that we didn't know their name. We named them. I mean, you know, it's not funny, but we named them based off of their appearance. And then they just vanished. And we was like, where'd old man Shepherd go? There's a dude we call Grady because he looked like Grady from Sanford and Son. He just vanished. He wasn't in no homes or no house. We was like, what? You know, if he had passed, normally we get a call like, oh man, this bum been laying here all day. He's been laying here since 3 a.m. It's now 12. He hasn't moved. Oh, dead guy. Starting to stink. The rigor mortis done set in. It's like dudes just vanished. Like, where the fuck did they go? If they weren't abducted by aliens, where'd they go? So that's some real stuff, man. That's some real stuff.
So 78, when you found this movie, and like you said, you and some of your family and everything that was home to, you know, hip to this and had discussions, and then you realize this film is depicting stuff that you all are, you know, noticing is actually happening in real life. Where were you at that time? Like, where were you living? What part of the country?
At that time, I was living in Nuremberg, Germany.
Germany. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, see, check that. Now that I'm glad I asked you that question, because you were in Germany and Drew is in New York, and 78. I know you had some New York roots also. That's why I asked the question. And I'm here in Illinois, in Chicago, and you see how we all can relate to, like, there's something about this that the elements of the film, but what we were experiencing in real life, in real time, in actuality, it's like, this is really the macabre. It's like there's something really, and it hasn't changed, people. It hasn't. If anything, it has gotten heightened to the degree where I said in my opening comments when I talked about cattle, people are being treated as such.
Yep.
And I don't think that is something to be glossed over. Let's switch now. I'm not going to read a whole lot of the plot details, but let me present this other aspect of what was experienced from this film. Charles Dutton and Gary Busey and McGinley, all these guys, they were men who were kind of upscale in society, according to society. Remember, I mentioned talking about classes of people earlier. And so these men were a team of sorts, and they would get together and go on their hunting trips. But to the layman, what you didn't really realize is they weren't hunting game like lions and tigers or elephants or anything like that. They were hunting people. And when you think about the role, like I said, that Charles S. Dutton played, where he worked at that soup kitchen, that's easy access to people who are down on their luck, who are less fortunate, who are kind of almost off the grid and are in unfortunate state and circumstances. So they're vulnerable, but also they're the ones that if something happens, society kind of is not going to miss them.
Right.
Your thoughts on that, 78?
Absolutely. That's when you listen, when you want to, I know this sounds bad, right? But listen, and I'm not trying to say everybody is that, because they're not. Definitely not. I know too many people that do good. But when you're looking for some creepazoids, people who mess with kids, look into the adoption agencies. Look into the people. See, everybody wants to look like a saint. Oh, I'm helping people. I'm doing. Sometimes people want to put themselves in position to get next to people who are desperate and people who they know ain't nobody gonna believe if they complain. Okay, I know several people that grew up. I'm sure y'all do. People who grew up in foster care and bad situations. A girl once told me real quickly. A girl once told me when she got taken from her mom. Her mom was on drugs. She went to go live with her grandmother. Her grandmother couldn't take care of her because her grandmother had some type of ailments, and the state took her. They put her in the crib where this white dude and his wife, and they had like 6, 7 other kids. They getting paid to take care of the kid. She said her first day there, she crying, and she don't know nobody. The kids being mean to her, of course. Said dude came in the room and told all the other kids to leave, and hemmed her up and told her, "You gonna stop crying? You belong to me now. The mama is a drug addict. The grandmama don't want you. Nobody wants you. You gonna do what I tell you to do." He said, and then on that particular day, she just got there, terrified. Dude raped her. Okay, now this is a real story from a girl who experienced this. But this man, I'm sure, was looked at as a saint. Oh man, look, you got all them kids he taking care of. Man, God bless you. Oh, now I don't want nobody to say that anybody who's trying to help people is up to no good. I'm saying that that's a place to hide, right?
Right.
It's a place to hide, because just like police, it's people who sign up to be police officers for the sole purpose of hurting people because they want the power. You know what I'm saying? And in this case with this guy, he's working with the homeless because now he has easy access to. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Some of my pimp buddies did the same thing. They would go and volunteer at the homeless shelters. I know this sounds horrible, bro. They would volunteer.
But you know what? 78. It's like camouflage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because you can be a wolf in sheep's clothing. You see what I'm saying? You can go down there and then and all these girls. Oh man, he's such a nice man. Well, you know what? Look, I don't want you and your daughter sitting out here. You know what I'm saying? In this shelter and stuff. Maybe I can help you out. You seem like good people. You know what I mean? Only thing is, I got one rule. You're gonna have to come to church with me now. All that cap. And then she trusts them, and she come move in with them, and before you know it, they making love, and she thinks she found a man. Now he got her locked up. Her and her daughter locked up, turning tricks up at the house. Ain't nobody even looking for her either. She gone. She ain't talked to her family in 2 years. She probably burnt bridges with them, so ain't nobody looking for her. And then he know it. He asks the questions to figure out how much support she got. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what Charles Dutton was doing, asking Ice-T.
Ice-T,
so,
yep.
You know what I'm saying? So where's your family? Where's this? Where's that? He's snooping to find out if I get rid of this guy, is anybody gonna come looking for him?
That's right.
And see, these guys, they they were, if you think about it, in their everyday lives, they were so-called people of respectability, right? Dutton working at the soup kitchen. He did something else too, but I forget what that was. Rutger Hauer and those other guys, they were all like, not all of them were white collar employed men, but they were still well-to-do and kind of upscale. They weren't paycheck to paycheck living men. They were kind of respected in their communities and stuff like that. And again, this, when you get a chance to see, when it's revealed to you what they're doing, then you begin to see the vulnerability of their victims and how the system is designed for them to be successful in their endeavors. Like Dutton is at the soup kitchen. I forget where Rutger Hauer was, but it's like, and even in the scene where, when they presented the opportunity to work for them to Ice-T, oh, we need a guide. It's like they constantly put people in a position to accept something. So even though they're being deceptive, it's like you did it. You took that step forward. Hey, come over here with us. And they took advantage of that.
Right.
Man, what's interesting is this, and I didn't even, to be perfectly honest, I didn't know that I would begin to feel like I'm feeling revisiting the movie. I haven't watched it in a number of years, but it came to mind to talk about the film. And now that we are engulfed in a conversation about it, I'm starting to feel a certain kind of way because I can see what's happening today. And it's really bad. It's on a much larger scale than it was then. Especially regarding children, but not exclusively to children.
Right.
When we were in Vegas last August, and we were, en route, and we kind of got off the expressway. And remember when we came down that one road and path off the
Yeah,
expressway?
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
That was like Skid Row in that area. And you saw all these homeless people, and they were in volumes. And because the weather's warm out there, being on the street like they were or whatever, they were just kind of in their little communes or whatever. But I started to think about this when we went through that. It came across my mind. And it's interesting because like I'm doing this show this evening, but because I had seen this film, it still took me back when I had that experience this past summer, going through that situation and knowing like how vulnerable those people can be to circumstances. It's frightening, guys. It's frightening.
It is. Like I said, when you get older, you see things one way when you're young, and then you get older, you see things different. Like I was just telling y'all, when I'm watching these action movies now and I see people's heads getting popped off, I'm like, oh. When I was young, I laughed at stuff like that. It was just entertainment for me. But when you get older, you start like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm gonna tell you the exact movie that did it for me. When I saw Saving Private Ryan. I only watched that once. Because I grew up around a bunch of guys that came from Vietnam, and they weren't white. They weren't right. I have a friend that did the first Gulf War. He's a disabled veteran. He got his thumb blown off. But every now and again, I see it in his face, that PTSD is a real thing. And when I watched this film again later on, I saw it when it came out. Then I saw it again some years later, and I looked at it a little different, like, man. And then when I was working for PD, I was like, I'd never forget. Around that time, I'm like, man, this is the part of the year we hate, because now it's cold. We got to start getting these old people off the street. These homeless people, and they just weren't around. And it was in all 5 boroughs. It was like, where'd they go? Where's Grady? Where'd they go? We never found out.
Right.
We never found out. And then, we all thought about movies like, and that was around the time that movie Hostel came out. When people go missing, you really think it's like, no, these people be good and grown. Where the F did they go? Yo, this is one of those movies that put it to perspective. I'm like, old man Grady, he was homeless, but he was cool. He wasn't, he just didn't want to live anywhere and pay rent. He got money from the soup kitchen. He did a little panhandling, but he was fine. Where'd he go? It was like, damn, man, so this movie makes you think. I see this film a lot different now. And you're right, Stone. We went down Skid Row. I'd never been in that part of Vegas. And when I looked, I said, damn. My gosh. It makes you wonder, man. And I brought up bum fights in the 90s. This guy, these kids with a camcorder is paying this homeless dude to put a helmet on. And he's running top speed into a sign. And he was getting into serious accidents, man. Serious accidents. There's a spot in Los Angeles where there's like a whole homeless spot. I never been there. But he was running up in there and starting fights with these homeless people. And it was like, what the fuck? I say, man, when I first saw it, I just wasn't laughing. I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of like dark, man. This is kind of grim.
Yeah.
Couldn't watch it, man. So, you know, when I looked at this film, Surviving the Game, it makes you wonder. Ice-T survived the game, but my God, how many people didn't? And they just, like 78 said, these chicks just disappeared. Like, where'd they go? Yep. 20 years later, you doing documentaries, or we found a human skull by accident. My dog was digging on something. It was a human skull with a blonde hair strand attached to it. Well, 20 years ago, old Bertha went into the forest with some rich dude, and he came back by himself. Unsolved mystery.
That's what I was talking about the other day when I was giving a message before my video about, like, you know, on holidays. I'm like, look, I know a lot of people don't celebrate the holidays and stuff like that. I don't celebrate them either for the reasons that they say, but I do use it as an opportunity to go see my family that I haven't seen in a long time, and to go get me a plate. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got family, cousins and stuff that don't come around until these times of the year. Or you got family that come from out of town and stuff like that. It's like the only time you get to see them is on these type of holidays or at a funeral, unfortunately. So I'm telling people, like, hey man, you just, you know, even if you don't celebrate, just use it as an opportunity to go see your people. You know what I'm saying? Because too often in our community, we go years without seeing people, and then when somebody say they missing, you like, how you go 2 years without seeing your auntie? Like you ain't talked to her, you ain't nobody talked to her, nothing, and ain't nobody said nothing. Well, like how was this? I was just telling my cousin that a couple days on Christmas. I'm like, cause she beefing with somebody in the family, so you know, she don't want people knowing where she live at. She ain't talking to nobody. I said, cuz, if something happened to you, how anybody gonna know where to check on you at? Ain't nobody got your phone number. Ain't nobody got your address. If something happened to you, if somebody do something to you, we gonna be one of the people on the news talking, hey, she been in there for 6 months. Did nobody even know? Now we look like some old ghetto stupid family that don't nobody know nothing about nothing. This is ridiculous. So, but that's all I'm saying, bro. Like you gotta check on your people, bro. You gotta make sure that everybody you got aligned a connection with people. You know what I'm saying? At least if you ain't got the number, you know, Auntie such and such got the number or something like that. You know, so you can reach out and see your people, because it's too many of these cats. Like, even I used to work in nursing homes when I was younger, and the one thing that we all knew was the residents that had family that come see them consistently. If their family came to see them once a month or something like that, those residents got treated better by the CNAs and the staff than the residents who didn't have nobody. See, when your family give up on you or they ain't coming to see you, man, they was in there treating them people any kind of old way, man. Just people ain't changing the people. People got bed sores, all kind of stuff. But when you got somebody coming to check up on you, now they know they got to be on their P's and Q's, just like they do in school. When the teachers and the school guidance counselor and the principal see that this kid parents don't never come to parent-teacher conference, this kid parents don't never come to pick them up, they only see you on the first day of school and the last day of school, right? Yep. That's the only time they see you. They don't give a damn about your kid. I'm telling you right now, they gonna treat them like dirt, because they gonna figure he ain't gonna be nobody anyway. But if you come into all the parents, now they know you involved, and now they know they gotta be on a better behavior. So these guys, like you saw in this picture, they go hunting for the neglected. They go hunting for the people who they feel like ain't nobody gonna notice they gone for years. You know what I'm saying? And that's sad. That's sad, but it's happening.
Yeah, I wanted to, go into the plot element just a little bit more before we continue the discussion, to lay the landscape for those who haven't seen the film. Remember, I said that they offered him a job as a hunting guide, and he, despite his misgivings, he accepted it. But fast forwarding, as they say, flying to a remote cabin surrounded by acres of woods, Mason meets the rest of the hunting party, all of whom pay $50,000 for the privilege of being there. In addition to Burns and Cole, the party includes Ted Doc Hawkins, a retired Central Intelligence agent, and a psychiatrist who's also the founder of HCO, Texas oil magnate John Griffin, and a wealthy father and son, Wall Street executives Derek Wolfe Sr. and Jr. On the first night, all the men chat over dinner. Mason receives a cigarette from Hawkins, who relays a story from his childhood about how his father forced him to fight and kill his own dog as a coming-of-age ritual to become a man. The following morning, Mason is awakened with a gun in his face by Cole, who explains that the men are not hunting any animals, but rather Mason himself. Mason is given a head start with only the time it takes the others to eat breakfast. After fleeing the area, Mason gets an idea and turns back. The hunters finish breakfast and go after him. The younger Wolf is horrified at the thought of committing murder, but is pushed into it by his father. The hunters race off into the forest after Mason, who has already returned to the cabin in search of weapons. Instead, he finds a trophy room filled with the preserved heads of victims from previous hunts.
That was crazy.
Yeah, now that's all of the plot I'm going to read on this film, and we can continue to discuss further, because notice the like I spoke of, these were well-to-do in society, men who had prominent lives and everything. But see, is it not a similar situation that we have seen throughout history, where those who have been very privileged, they get bored with their status, and so they make games out of the less fortunate?
Yeah.
It is something that has permeated our society since time. And this is where the understanding of everything is not for play, which is why you shouldn't show that grown adolescent type mentality when dealing with certain people. And I noticed, Drew and 78, when you guys conduct your shows and streams and everything, you try to tell people, you try to give messages and everything, but the ignorance is so strong in society that some people just don't want to get the message, which is one of the reasons, like I said, to talk about a film like this, because you guys, I actually witnessed someone getting, I don't know if to say abducted is the thing to say or whatever, but this was in the early 2000s, and I was up and on my way to work one morning, and I'm walking down the street getting ready to head to where my car was parked. And I turned this corner on the block, and the irony is right there on that corner was a church. Been there for many years. It's a very old church, and people attended that church in the neighborhood. I turned that corner to walk down the street, and a van pulled up, but it was behind me, not going the direction I was going, but there was a person on the street who I had observed, but I didn't look at them real good or whatever. Next thing you know, I heard something go, ugh, and I turned around. They were grabbing this person and shoving them in the back of a van, and the van sped off. And I was like, holy smokes. I'm looking at the whole, it happened so fast, but maybe that was somebody that they was looking for, or what, who knows what the story was. I never heard anything else become of it, but it could have been me. You know what I'm saying? It's like the van rolled up, a couple of guys jumped out, grabbed this person, and you heard them go, "Ugh," like they hit him or something, you know, and threw him into a van. Now, that's something that always stuck with me, you know. And of course, even after that occurred, I definitely watched my surroundings even more. But sometimes things are like very plain, as clear as day. But this subject, this movie here, I can't stress it enough how prominent this is even today. Today it is so. We're in the midst of a winter here, and a lot of the homeless that we had seen maybe before the season changed, going into the fourth quarter of 2025, it's like, it's scarce. And it's a little more scarce than normally. Even in the winter conditions of Chicago, you can see homeless folks, but the streets have been clear, man. And all these people are not in shelters.
No, they're not. They're not. That's what I'm saying, man. You know, people disappearing, and then think about well, it's not only kids getting snatched off the street, man, is what we're saying. Gives you something to think about. This movie really gave me something to think about later on in life. Anybody could get it. And let me say this, man, and for those of you listening on Rumble too, find out what the carry laws are in your state and exercise them. You hear what I'm saying? Find out what the carry laws are in your state and go through the process. All right? You have the right to protect yourself. You do. It's not impossible. All right? You can legally carry. Some states, I know like Texas is very loose. Florida is very loose. In my state, it's not impossible. Trust me. Trust me, it's not impossible. But find out what the laws are and get online and find out how do you go about, you know, a legal concealed carry. Because things are real out here. And that's all I'm going to say about that part.
Yes, sir. But the movie was it was an awakening. The character played by Ice-T had to come to his senses and recognize the threat. And though early in the film, due to circumstances that he found himself on the sad end of, and he was looking to delete himself, he realized that he wanted to survive. Thus the title of the film, Surviving the Game. And he took it to the basics of what his experience was and how to thrive and survive. These were men who had lived privileged lives and looked at it, as in the title it says, game. They looked at him as game, and they treated past victims as game. And they always operated from a position of security, you know, thinking they were on top. Right. But he flipped the script on them. And being a homeless man, and we never knew how long he was homeless, but if you look at how he was, you know, presented in the film, he had those dreads and everything. So you take it that it took a long time for that to grow out like that and everything. So maybe his condition was, off radar for a while or whatever. Sometimes a person can just have something happen to them suddenly, but still the survival instincts, how to stay alive, that's what got him through in this situation. Not saying that the past people couldn't get through, but the film depicted him as a person who, like I said, when they presented him to you, he wanted to take himself out. He wanted to delete himself. But due to these circumstances of which he found what he was dealing with, he decided, I want to live. And damn that, I'm not going to allow these guys to take me out. I'm going to take them out. You understand? And
Right.
it was a different type of mindset. Your thoughts on what I was saying there, 78.
Man, you know I'm on mute over here talking to myself, man.
It happens.
I'm up here giving ad libs and everything. Ain't anybody heard? But yeah, absolutely. He first he thought he wanted to die until he saw what death was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you can live a hard life and you can feel like you ain't got nothing to live for. He lost his family and stuff like that, and he was down on himself. But in the face of them demons, he remembered, he saw, he instantly realized he wasn't as bad as he thought he was. You know what I'm saying? And he seen what they was up to, and he's like, okay, fuck that. I'm finna take all this anger. He challenged it the right way. And like I say, this movie, one of my favorite movies, because I don't want to go to the ending, but it was justice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He got his justice. You know what I mean? So it was definitely one of my favorites, man, to see, because sometimes you watch a movie like this, you get pissed off, you watching it, and then the ending be all fucked up, and you're like, man, why did I watch this shit? You know what I'm saying? But it just ruined your whole night. But this. Yeah, this was definitely worth the watch. If anybody ain't seen it, watch it. Because I bought this movie off of YouTube because it's one of my favorite movies. So when YouTube had it on sale, I couldn't find it nowhere. So I'm like, man, I don't want to order the DVD off of Amazon because, I ain't really watching DVD. I ain't got my DVD player hooked up no more. So I seen it, on YouTube for sale. I bought it, and now they're saying that it's for free on YouTube. So I'm like, shoot. But whatever. I didn't have it in my YouTube library for years, though.
Yeah, I have the DVD of it, and like I said, I haven't watched it in years, but something it brought it to me because we were going to talk about the Avengers film coming up, and I presented this, and Drew was like, "Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. That's a hell of a movie, and it is really something else." And my suggestion to people is to, especially when you go into a movie going experience or whatever, always compartmentalize what you're being subjected to, because there are elements of entertainment, there are elements of your piqued interest, whether it's action or drama or comedy or whatever, but always keep that level mindset on what you're experiencing too, because they don't really put stuff out there into the atmosphere without it having some type of drubbing message, even if it's subliminal or it's overt or whatever. You need to be able to take that in as such. This right here is like, wow. And if you look at how the characters that he had to go up against, these men in society, they had different type of roles. You had an ex Central Intelligence guy, you had a oil mogul, you had these guys who were CEO. It's like, think about that. And that's the way it is in life for real. It's like some of these people are so-called well-to-do, but they get off on being privileged over the unfortunate. That's real.
Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
That's something. And you're right with what you said, man. I view movies different because there's, I swear, there's always messages in these movies that can actually be kind of like, it make you think like, whoa, what are they trying to say? And I'm gonna get a little chuckle when I say this, but when I was in Florida on vacation, that Planet of the Apes movie came out with Woody Harrelson. That was the last one I saw in the movies.
Yeah.
And they were, I don't want to say they were firing shots, but they were striking a nerve when the apes, when that white ape let them call him donkey, and he caught up to him. He's like, yo, you let these dudes you let these dudes carve donkey on your back just to sell us out? And it's a big old white ape in there? I mean, they were firing shots, bro.
Oh yeah.
They were firing shots in that film left and right. I kept looking at my pops. We were laughing like, oh my God, what are they doing in this film? But they did it. So my movie experience has elevated. You know what I'm saying? It's elevated to a degree where it's like, oh man, what are they really trying to say? You know what we got to do, Stormy? We got to do Back to the Future.
Yeah.
There's a scary ass video. It might be on YouTube, but I saw it on Facebook years ago, where there was a lot of things that happened in American history that he talked about in that film. It was like, yo, I think in that film there was something that predicted the World Trade Center happening. I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but I saw that a long time ago. Oh my God. I was like, what's going on here? You know, so there's a lot of like hidden gems. I'll give you just a brief one. Looking back at the first Star Wars films, right? You notice, why did all the soldiers in the Empire that weren't stormtroopers, first of all, they were called stormtroopers, hint, hint. Why did they all give you Nazi vibes? You ain't noticed that?
Right.
That was creepy as hell, man. I was like, that is like messed up, man. But I mean, look, I look at these movies very different. And when I went back and thought about the ideology behind this film, it made me, I went right to when I was working, and we was like, all right, we gotta get these homeless people off the streets. 15 degrees out. And we was like, where the fuck is everybody? Where's Grady? Went downstairs where the N and the R train was. We was like, where is everybody? We was like, man, because you know what happens is sometimes they don't even, they don't want you to find them. You know what they do? They don't go downstairs and sleep on the benches and the platforms. You know what they do? They go in the damn tunnels, bro. They go in the tunnels. You know how many, oh man, bro, let me tell you something. I would never want to be a train operator.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, because you'll be driving that train and all you got is the light on the train and you don't see what's ahead of you until you turn that little corner.
It's too late.
A homeless person jump right out at you and you rolling them over. And now you got to go out on comp because your train done ran over somebody and it's psychologically killing you inside. That job is a pain in the ass, man. I would never do that. They used to ask me, yo, you want to go down low because they make a little more money? I say, yeah, I know why. I'll stay up top. I'm good. I'm good. I don't want no smoke with that. I know a guy that literally in his 23-year career, he hit 3 homeless people. And it was always in the wintertime.
And sometimes they try to go down there in those subways and sleep.
Yeah, that's what they do. They go down there and sleep. Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
It's like, you know, there's really no space to sleep. But when people are in that state, they're not always thinking with the you know, clear mind and everything. They're just trying to tune the world out. And yeah, you know, there's always somebody on the tracks. It's like, you know, when you're in a city like Chicago or New York or whatever, and you have big subway systems, that's something that we're very familiar with, and it's very unfortunate, especially at this time of year, because this is when it happens the most.
The most.
It's like it's
Most.
crazy, man. I
It's
want
bad.
to take a quick moment and acknowledge a Cash App donation we got. I guess this is the person's government name. I don't want to say the government name, but the letters are PD. And he says, salute Stormy, appreciate you and your work. Thank you so much for your Cash App donation, brother. Appreciate that. If you're in the chat, just, let me know so I know who it was, but that looks like the government name there. Try to still keep you covered, you know what I'm saying? But thank you so much for your donation.
Also when you watch these movies, if you relate it to like real life situations, in this aspect, Ice-T's character was ordained to put this nonsense to an end. Yes. So they actually kidnapped the right one, because he was the only person that was able to do that. He had the skill set, and they knew he was special than the other ones, so they were excited about it. But then he started systematically taking their ass out. It was like, uh-oh. Whoa. And he could have left.
You're right. I remember that in the film too. They kind of got a little excited about him having a certain level of intelligence, that they're like, oh, this might be fun. This might be a little more gamey. You know what I'm saying?
I know how to pick him. I know how to pick him.
Yeah, that was that arrogance in them, for what they had been doing. And it also shows a real sick side of those men. I mean, think about how they, away from their family lives, even though you had the one guy that brought his son along with him, but they got wives, they got children at home, they got jobs where people respect them in the workplace or whatever, and have no knowledge of them doing what they're doing. You see, that's the other aspect of it that is really a critical situation of you acknowledge someone being demonic, in what they're doing out here.
Oh, write this down, Stormy. We got to do a movie called Running Scared.
Yeah. Okay. Running Scared. Yeah.
There's 2 movies
Running
called
Scared.
Running Scared.
I've seen that before.
Yeah. The dude was an undercover cop, and his cover was blown. That one. I think that's that one, and there's one with Liam Neeson. Not that one. The one
right.
With,
the other one with the young guy.
Right. That one was crazy.
I got that on DVD as well.
Oh my God, that movie from the moment it started.
You talking about? I'm talking about the one with. See, I'm thinking of different. I'm talking about the one with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal.
Oh, that's another one.
No, it's not the Gregory Hines one.
Okay.
I know who he's talking about. It's this young dude. Actually, he don't even make movies no more. That guy.
Nah.
That's in there.
My God. That movie right there, if you never saw that movie that we talking about, Running Scared, we're gonna review that, man. My God, is that movie on YouTube? My God, from the moment it started, you're like, yo, what's happening here? But he was funny as hell though. When he had to go retrieve that bullet, he was like, I'm gonna fucking have a heart attack. I was dying.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, the reason why I brought that up, because when dude's wife got in the mix somehow, and she started investigating, did her own investigation, and she ran up on those PDF files. You remember that scene, Stormy?
Yeah.
It's like totally by accident. She's like, what the hell's going on in here? And she handled her business too. And this was I think they were her neighbors or something. And she was like, wait. It's an average guy and an average woman, and y'all doing this? Yeah, legendary. Paul Walker. Man, that movie was on 10. The whole film was on 10. I was like, yo, what's happening? We got to do that. But I mention that because in this film, Surviving the Game, all of these guys was from basic walks of life, and you would never know. You would never know, and they were doing this.
Yeah.
Everybody said Jeffrey Dahmer was quiet. He ain't bother nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, he was drilling people's. Oh my God, that guy was crazy, man.
Yeah, that's a pure definition of a demon right there.
Yeah. He literally drilled a hole in that dude's head, and he woke up and was wobbling up the street naked.
And the police didn't do nothing.
They didn't do nothing. This is just what white folk do. But nah, that was a little Spanish kid who did that too,
Asian
right?
dude. The little Asian dude.
Asian dude, right?
An Asian guy, yeah. And he was naked and bleeding, and they didn't even do anything. They released the guy back into the custody of Dahmer, man.
You know what that was? That was the officers just not wanting to do the paperwork, and they didn't want to deal with it. They said, "Oh, this is a gay couple. They hired. Let him take him back to the house." Unbelievable, man. Oh, that white boy was crazy, man.
Yeah, that was. Whew. I remember that.
You know, that was a true story. He got some they got a movie about him on Netflix, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's
Nasty work.
Yeah, I couldn't get through it. I watched a little bit of it.
I kept turning it off too. I I ended up finishing it though, but I kept turning it off, man. I was so mad watching that because I'm from Milwaukee. I wasn't here when that was happening. We was overseas, but still, man, it was just disgusting, dog.
Oh, Night Train said he lived around the corner from that crap.
Wow.
Oh my God. He lived in a black neighborhood too?
Yeah, he lived in the hood.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. My gosh. That's probably why he got as far as he did.
Now, when I was a kid coming up, man, they had that guy, John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, I remember him.
I know the name.
The thing, it just goes to show how society has changed. When he was, arrested for what, the crimes he was alleged to have committed, us kids we were petrified about that. And I remember conversations we'd have and stuff, and if someone that we thought was one of them folks that like to mess with young ones, we would call them a Gacy,
Oh.
It became a term, seriously. And dude, when they started digging up around his home, that man had more bodies around the plot of his home than in a cemetery. This guy had bodies after bodies after bodies after bodies. I think there was somewhere up in the 30 count.
Something like that.
And it was just, and he would make these appearances like a clown or something at shows for children and stuff. It's like, my goodness, bro. My goodness.
My dad and my uncles, when they first started working for the city, they all started in corrections. And he told me when I was young, he said, those PDF files, well, of course, the term PDF files, y'all know what I'm saying when I say PDF files.
Yeah, we know.
He said when they got to prison, they say, yo, man, that dude got short eyes. And there was actually a movie called Short Eyes.
Yeah, with Alan Alda from MASH.
Now, I never watched it, Stormy.
I
heard it was really brutal.
Yeah, I got the DVD.
Really?
Yeah. You know what's interesting it played in the theater once when it came out, because it came out in the 70s.
Yeah.
It played in the theater with one of the kung fu films that I had went to see. So, you know, I had to get through that movie to see the kung fu film. And so I remember Short Eyes. But yeah, that was a film that, no, I said it starred Alan Alda. That wasn't the one with Alan Alda. The one with Alan Alda was called The Glass House. So, you know, what was interesting is these films were in theaters in the 70s.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting because of where the country is today. I don't think that those films, even looking back upon them, I don't think that they were made promoting that behavior, but they were trying to show you two sides of what happened, like people who commit that type of action, and if you're convicted, what happens to you when you go away for it, you know.
Right.
But Short Eyes was definitely a film. 1977 is when it was made. What a situation, man.
Yeah, I heard that was. I ain't watch it yet. I'm gonna find a way to sit through it. But damn, I heard it was bad. It was real bad. It was real bad.
Check it out, bro. Check it out. No, and I say it because it's one of those films, like, as a man, you'll be able to, you know, handle the subject and the context of everything. But, you know, I saw it as a kid, and it's like, it was kind of heavy to see as a kid, you know. But remember, they passed films off with certain ratings. Back then, a film like this could have got a X rating because of the violence and things of that nature, but I don't think it did, because, like I said, it played where I saw kung fu films, right. And so did the Alan Alda film, the Glass House, which was kind of similar in theme.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. But that's one of those movies you got to get ready. You got to get ready. Like, yeah, this is it's one of those, man.
Yeah, dude got sent up to a facility because he had essayed a woman, and the population was mostly Black and Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And as soon as he arrived on the scene and they had heard what he was there for, they was on him. And it was like, it was tragic.
To this day, they don't take kindly to people when you go to jail and you get locked, and I'm not talking about like out here Rikers Island. That's just a holding facility, and you could be there for a while, but once you get your trial and you're convicted and you head upstate, if you are guilty of that, it's over for you. It's over for you. You got to act out so you could get into the hole. If you're in the hole, no one else is there with you. You don't even want to be in general pop because they're going to get you for that. Yeah. Oh, Tania in the chat, 8mm with Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage. Oh my God, that was
diabolical, man. That movie there.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's more shit that goes on in real life.
Yeah. That Storm, I know you saw that, right? 8mm?
What?
8mm, that movie 8mm with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, I saw 8mm.
What's that? James Gandolfini? He had died.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was awful. That was awful. I wasn't ready. I'm dead serious. I'm sitting in the movie theater eating popcorn, like, where this going?
Yeah, but that's like playing into this movie too. Like what we're talking about as far as people like people who won't be missed, just disappearing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or if they people ain't got enough power to fight, to look for him. All that stuff, all that disappearing stuff, man. People just dipping out, running away from home, and all that. And people just, man, forget that, bro. Nah, I ain't with it.
It plays into the big over the top movie Taken.
Yeah.
That was wild. They kidnapped the wrong one, and he had things, and he flew overseas, and he went out for hard for his daughter. And at the very end, when he caught up to her, what they had her doing? She was high. Her friend was dead, and she was in a damn bikini, about to get sold off to some $1 billion Arabs.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And, to that degree, the trafficking situation. I mean, watch your kids, watch your grandkids, man. Make sure they're aware of their surroundings. And like I said, check with your state in reference to concealed carry. It's different in every state, and it makes me sick. If they could do anything about the carrying laws in this country, it'd be like mine's in New York, and I got the one in New York matches the one in Florida, matches the one all the way in fucking Utah. But watch this. Some people, they can't carry. The carry laws is in New York is in the same. It's the same in Philly and in Florida. But for some reason, you can't. The laws is different in New Jersey. So how the fuck you get into Philly without going through New Jersey from New York? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta be in your trunk, and then certain states, it could be in the trunk, but it can't be loaded. It's stupid. It's stupid. Why would you have it's stupid. Why would you have a firearm that's unloaded? What do you do?
See that what that is that's supposed to be protecting the law. That's all.
Yeah, but how you gonna protect yourself? Because you know what's happening now, and I'm gonna tell you right now. Everyone needs to go to their state legislator and say, look, we got to protect ourselves. Because you know what's happening right now? I just saw it on the gram. You got these damn white boys running around acting like ICE. That's a real thing. I just saw this dude tossing a brother. And when I say tossing, I mean patting him down. Stop questioning the frisk. I don't know what state this was in, but he had his car doors open, and a YouTuber so happened to be driving up the street. He says, that don't look right. And the brother was complying. He was like, yo, man, the cop was all in this car throwing shit around, right? And Tania, you saw that, right? It was on the news. And the YouTuber was like, yo, what's your name and badge number? And dude didn't want to give his name and badge number. It was a fat white dude. And he gets in his car. It looked like no damn private car. I mean, it looked like a private car. It looked like it wasn't no Durango. Well, it was reported, and they caught up the homie. And this dude just had a gun belt, and he looked like an officer. And these dudes literally ride around, tossing minorities. And then they got fake ICE people out there just running around jumping on Latin people. So if you know that they're not them, you have a right to defend yourself.
But the problem is the system of white supremacy have these people and you have everybody in a state of if you Caucasian and you must have some authority.
Yeah.
See, and they believe they got authority. They just walk up to you. What you ain't supposed to be here or who. See, when people stop treating them like they the police, no, let them prove they the cop. Show me your badge. Let me see your ID. You know what I'm saying? Don't just, because if that's the case, you can fall for anything. So anybody can just get you in the back of their car. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Come on, you end up like Ice-T.
Oh, wait a minute. What was that movie with Oh man. What was that movie with what's his name? Holy crap. Oh shit.
What's about?
What's his name from well, I can't think of this man's name. But in his daughter was found dead. And he thought one of his friends did it. But he was like, yo, maybe he went off the hinges because when we was younger, some dudes that identified themselves as cops kidnapped him and they SA'd him.
You're not talking about Mystic River, are you?
Mystic River, that's it.
Okay, yeah, that was my.
Oh my God, Stormy, you saw that?
Yeah, man, that was directed by Clint Eastwood, bro.
Oh my God.
Sean Penn was in it.
Sean Penn, that's what I was thinking of.
But Clint Eastwood, that's one of his best movies.
Oh my God, man, bro.
Is that my daughter in there? Is that my daughter in there?
That's another film that I'm watching it like, wow. Then years later, you got some kids, you're like, oh man, I couldn't imagine. And he went bonkers. Mystic River, I'm watching like, what's going on here? And the next thing you know, when it started unraveling, I'm like, oh no, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh. Whatever state y'all live in, look up the concealed carry laws, man. And ain't nothing in New York, ain't nothing but a 3-day course, a background check and everything. If you good to go. It's not impossible, bro. We have rights. And you know, now when they got fake ICE and fake police running around here, not necessarily in New York City, they ain't doing that. But I'm seeing all of this pop up like in the Midwest and all this other. It's crazy out here. And if you're not sure, wind your windows up and you call 911 saying, yo, I'm pulled over. Some guys not identifying themselves. Could you send the police?
Right.
That's that. That's wild. But anyway, this is all relevant to surviving the game, actually. It's all relevant.
Sure is, because it's about surviving this game, you know.
That's right. Yeah, this. Whew. But this whole film is on YouTube, right? I'm all looking for it on Tubi. No, it's on Tubi, right? I meant to watch it. I couldn't find it. Should be.
Somebody wrote in the chat earlier. I think they said it is on YouTube. I think. So.
Oh wait. Sidebar. Stormy, do you remember a film in the '80s called "They Call Me Bruce"?
Yes, Johnny Yoon.
Yes, I need to watch that. I haven't watched that. I need to get a soundbite. He said Master Chong is a pussy.
He had a sequel too. They Still Call Me Bruce.
Oh no, I didn't know about that.
Yep.
Do you remember a movie called Super Fuzz?
Yep.
Fuzz,
yeah.
I need that.
Kung Pao, Into the
Kung
Fist.
Pao, I saw that in the movies, and that was I think, interesting you said that. That was the last time I actually got drunk in my life, watching that stupid ass film and throwing up. I was like, well, that's it. That's it. Kung Pao. But yeah, man. But this is some. You see this movie, like it leads into these real life conversations, man.
Yes,
it's real life conversations because what happened to Ice-T's a character is really not far fetched, man. And what 78 was talking about, these chicks disappearing. You riding off on a boat with these $1 million white men, and then like a month later, like, what happened to Sarah? I don't know. She was with you. Like, yeah, she left with that blonde haired, blue eyed looking guy. Where's he? I don't know. And y'all don't have the resources to look for Sarah. And now Sarah, 28 years old, with a drug problems on the back of a milk carton, you never see her again.
Mm-hmm.
78, you said that you had heard about this stuff when you guys were talking when you were in Germany, but that was the stories that you all were sharing and talking about was from America, right? It wasn't from Germany.
Yeah. That's from America. But,
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I would hear my pops and them telling, like I had been hearing them talking about this stuff since like before we went to Germany. They've been talking about, you know, such and such disappeared, ain't nobody seen her, blah blah blah. She was last seen bragging about she had met this rich dude, blah blah blah. Then later on when we moved to Germany, because we went to California, then Germany. And we was in Germany, and when I see, because my pops, he owned a video store. He bought this, it was called American Video, you know what I'm saying, in Germany. So we was like the only blockbuster out there joint, man. So my pops bought the video store, and then so I had access to all these VHS tapes, man, these movies, and you know, I
You was in heaven then, wasn't you?
yeah, man, I'm telling you, bro. I used to step in there and you know, I come home from school, go right to the video store, and then for like an hour or two, I just get all the return movies and put them where they belong. You know what I'm saying? That's how I ended up getting addicted to porno. Doing that, it's creepy. I wasn't supposed to put them up, but I did. So I'm going in there putting up all the stuff, man, and I would see movies in there. I'm like, man, this is a good movie. And I would judge them by the cover. When you're a kid, you look at the cover. You know what I'm saying? I look at the cover and I see, all right, Ice-T in this joint. So I used to go take movies home, a couple of them every day, and watch them, bring them back the next day and stuff. So when as soon as I seen that movie, Surviving the Game, I told Pop, I said, Pop, so I had the movie in my hand. And he seen what it was. He said, I already know. He said, I told you. So I told you they do that stuff for real. People be coming up missing. You know what I mean? And now the same. I ain't gonna say the same thing, but similar stuff is look, all these chicks going to Dubai, right? And the ones that come back, they coming back with some money because they didn't let all this nastiness happen to them. But what about the ones that get over there acting tough and I ain't that motherfucker, I ain't doing this and that? What happened to them? You know what I'm saying? Well, what are they?
Hey, General, you know about the chicks that went over there missing, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a couple of them.
Yeah, that really happened, y'all. Then the chicks that made it back, they got back there. They first of all, they said you come down here, you can make 1 million rupees or whatever it was, and it's really translate to like $20,000. And then you're down there eating pails of dung, real shit. And then one chick was on the gram talking about how she's like forever sick from eating feces, and she's on medication for the rest of her life, and she's like, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah. They do for it. And the thing is, they get scared to say no. First of all, they say UFOs, but then sometimes they get over there and they get scared to say no because now you're in a foreign land, you're in another person, and then you're surrounded by these wealthy people, and you know they can snap their finger and you'll never be thought of again. You know what I'm saying?
Let me point out how stupid they are, bro.
Yep.
They go all the way across the globe to a country that ain't their home or whatever. Shit.
And then come back bragging. Every time a chick tell me, "Oh, I'm just getting back from Dubai," I already know. I'm like, yeah, I know what you went there for because everybody heard the rumors. So if you're going over there to eat shit, and you know what I'm saying, you going over there to get doo-doo on and all that. So that's what you going over there for. So
imagine a brother can't get a date with a shorty because he don't meet her standards, but she goes over there with a turkey out of sheik type dude just to eat a pail of doo-doo for 50 grand.
They do it over here too. They do it in America. They do it over here. You know what I'm saying? One girl told me before, and I was so mad at her too. I never looked at her the same after she told me. She said that she had this white. She was bragging. She thought she was really like impressing me. She was like, "Yeah, I know how to get this money. I had this one white trick. You know, he was paying good." And listen to this. Listen to her language. He was paying good. Ooh. She was like, "Yeah, he would. He lived up in Appleton, Wisconsin, and he would want me to come meet him out there. So I come out there, and then he give me $1,000, and I hang out with him from Friday and Saturday." And then I leave on Sunday. He paid for all the food, but he was just kind of perverted. He wanted me to eat a lot of beans and stuff, and then he wanted me to like doo-doo in the toilet and then play with it and rub it on me and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, okay, and what? She was like, yeah, it was weird. I never done that before, but I mean, he was paying. I'm like, $1,000? That ain't shit. Like, okay, what the fuck
doing, baby?
$1,000? You think that's something to degrade yourself to play and do? I'm like, man, these chicks out here doing. Listen, I don't want to hear nothing about how your baby daddy ain't no good and this and that. If y'all let other dudes do anything to y'all, okay, but your baby daddy ain't no good if he ain't got the $50 this week. It is unbelievable.
Yeah. Stupid shit, man.
Oh, ew, ew.
Doodoo frauds, man.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
Ew. Surviving the game indeed. Oh, yikes. Ew.
We can make our own LDBC movie. I've had it up to here with your shit.
Yeah, yeah. That's really funny, man.
Shit.
Oh. Oh my God. Ew. Now they eating poop. You ain't shit, nigga. Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Man.
My God. Yeah, I'm a
This is still, you know, a great subject for this evening, Drew, because, you know, to be able to bring to light what we, you know, got out of that film and what's happening in society. And it's great that the general joined us too, because, you know, he has, you know, even just like we do, he has the experience of being able to share something on the topic and everything. That's I'm most proud of that kind of stuff, because that's when we can really put something out there. And then again, people who didn't catch us live, they go back and catch the replay. You know what they're gonna say? Oh man, I wish I would have caught the live. You know, this is why we be telling people, check the live out. Come in, you know, they'd be like, oh, Taco had his on. I'm gonna go watch him first. Well, whatever. You know what I mean? We doing some good stuff over here.
and follow us on Rumble, man. We get loose over there.
Absolutely. I guess I done uploaded enough content over on Rumble that they running commercial ads on my stuff now.
Good. It's a good look.
Yeah. So, yeah, I noticed that. So
Rumble's a good look, man. You can play the music you want over there. So far that I've seen, you can play the music you want. They don't bother you too hot.
And even though I haven't made my 100 followers yet, I can go live over there, because I did do my thank you live that I did. That was strictly uploaded at Rumble. So
good. So I think it's a watch time thing. So I think Rumble
might be, yeah.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of content over there already, you know, from the shows we've done, shows I've done, stuff I've uploaded over there. So
78, you on Rumble?
I got a Rumble pay. I signed up when it first came out, and I don't think I ever uploaded nothing. I gotta get active over there.
Yeah, you should get active over there, man. You could get an account. You can super chat immediately.
And in general, do you broadcast your streams through StreamYard, right?
Right.
Well, you can. All you got to do is copy and paste your title and everything over to your Rumble side, and then when you hit your thing to go live, you hit the icon for StreamYard and for Rumble, and it's that simple. So you'll be multi-streaming on both.
Okay, bet.
It's the easiest way, you know, and you know that'll also get your content going over there when you multi-stream.
Okay, bet.
This cat's over there getting busy, man. This cat's over there getting busy.
Yeah,
So,
the political field is big over there.
it's retarded over there.
I know. That's what a lot of people tell me to go over there for the more controversial type of videos like that.
Yeah. There's dudes over there. There's I forgot this dude's name, but he had like 8,000 people in his chat. I was like, God damn, bro, what's going on over there? What I'm gonna do is I'm definitely gonna take Pep Talk over there. I'm definitely gonna take Pep Talk over there, and I'm gonna produce and get loose over there. And Patreon, I'm just taking the gloves off. But you know, they getting on my nerves. Stormy, as we was talking, I got 4 more notifications, but you know, I as we doing the live, they all got released. The claims got released, man. These dudes, they trying so hard. They're trying so hard. They ain't gonna win.
You know what it is? I think what it is now, just out of observation, they're just going back to the stuff that, you know, that they didn't flag you for because of that old, content that was used or whatever, but you just keep, disputing it with how we've been doing it, and it'll release right away, because like I told you, they hit me with 8 of them this morning. And I was like, I had to wait till I got to work to do my little copy and paste thing, and I did that. And after I had responded to the third one, they were already releasing them, So yeah. So I guess we, with the Nerd Show, because that intro you made for me, remember?
Yeah.
That Stomp music track.
Yeah.
Just got to go through the rest of those that they haven't been flagged, and once they go through that, they won't be able to get me on that no more, because I've been responding. And we did switch up, I think, after, because this is show number 149.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did about 100 shows with that, maybe.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay, because
they're not anticipating us knowing how to dispute these things. They just think we're ignorant monkeys.
Yeah, that's what.
And at least 30 shows by now. Claim release, claim release, claim release. Come on, man.
And this is the thing. Like I told you, I woke up this morning. They started at 4:30 in the morning, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell is sitting up at that hour going through your stuff like that?
Miguel. I'm telling you,
they mess with you, man. And once you get on they little bad list, they little blacklist, I should say. Once you get on that, man, they gonna mess with you, dog. Like they be harassing the mess out of me, dude. Just man, whatever.
I had a troll that I dealt with magically pop up on my 3rd channel, and the next day we started getting all of these strikes from shows we did a year ago, but we handled it and all the claims got released. And then you got you got different dudes that we don't deal with popping up in our family's comment section all of a sudden in the live streams. I'm like, this is not coincidental. So these trolls work for Google. These trolls clearly work for Google, and y'all even a virtual paper trail. I'm letting you know right now, I'm going to get you. And as a point of information, I was in BFTB's live stream, and I noticed something. And I told Stormy this morning, General. He did a premiere, and during the premiere, the chat is live, and there was a particular individual that I don't deal with anymore. And people are like saying, hey, man, here comes this dude, and there he goes. And people are talking to him. And I'm like, why I can't see him?
Right.
And I blocked him on all my channels. I blocked him. And I'm like, hold on, let me find out YouTube did what I've been asking them to do. All I asked them to do was adapt the technology that Instagram has. When you go to block somebody on the gram, it gives you an option. Block this account or any other account they create. I blocked their whole life.
Right.
And you don't see them anymore, and they can't see you. And I was telling Stormy about 2 years ago now, Malik Scott put up a video of him training with Deontay, and I went in there and I saluted them, and he responded to me, yo, salute, shout out to the LDBC. And then I'm seeing people in the comment section, oh God, get off Drew's dick, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, what's going on? So Malik DM'd me. And he said, yo, who's this guy cursing you out in the chat? I said, I don't know. I can't see him. So he sent me screenshots. And I said, oh, man, I blocked that guy. That's why I can't see him. And he can't see me. And I'm reading what he said. Oh, Drew's in here. I know you're in here. F you, F the LDBC, F Malik, F Bomb Squad. And he was going off. And I said, Malik, go ahead and block that dude. So then he blocked him, and everyone was laughing at him and shit. But I couldn't see him and he couldn't see me. But the only reason why he knew I was there is because they saluted me by name.
Right.
So then this morning, that dude Mag 7, I blocked him. And I'm like, why are people talking to him? So I went to both BF's channel. He didn't have the premiere up on his BFTB Sports. I went back to BFTB Boxing, And I said, he's in here. I asked Stormy, I said, is Mag 7 here? He said, yeah. He's wrenched up and everything. I said, well, I don't see him. So Stormy sent me a screenshot. I said, yo, I can't see him and he can't see me. That's how I want it.
Right.
When I block you, I don't want you knowing when I go live. You shouldn't be able to sub to me. You shouldn't be able to find me.
Yeah.
You got to log all the way out of YouTube, because you know you can log out of YouTube and still look at YouTube. But if you try to comment, they're going to ask you to log in. And no matter what account you create, if it's the same IP address, now I don't know if they went this far, because on Instagram you could block the whole IP address.
I hope they did. Man, that'd be lovely if YouTube did that.
That's what I've been asking for.
That will cut down on so much ridiculous trolling.
That's right. That's right. Dudes got to go get a whole new cell phone and a whole new router to troll you. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. You gotta be a dedicated troll. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now
hey, y'all,
you have to be a troll of 50 cent proportion.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta be a 50 cent troll. Hey, bum, I gotta get up out of here though, y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all in a minute.
No doubt.
All right, 78. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, but I just wanted to share that information because that's a good thing. Because if I don't want to see you, I don't want to see you. I'm wondering why people are talking to him. I thought they were talking about him. They were talking to him. I said, oh. And that's when I hit you up and Mr. Shelton too. And y'all sent me screenshots. And I'm like, nah, I don't see him. I said, this is perfect. This is how I want it. If I block you, I don't want to see you. You shouldn't be able to find me online. You shouldn't be able to put my name in the search bar and find me because I don't want you to be around me. I hope they got that together in 2026 because it's actually been happening in the last few days. I'm like, how they talk? I said, okay, Mag must be over on BF's other channel. No, he was in the chat. I just didn't see him because I blocked him. And if that's how we rocking in 2026, come on, trolls. All I gotta do is block you and you won't never see me again. Now, if we're in the same stream together, I won't see you, you won't see me, and I can't at you, and vice versa. So we ain't gotta speak. I love that, but I just want to point that out. But anyway, in closing, man, great show as usual. This is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But it opens up your third eye on what's really going on in the world. People missing, grown people missing. In their 20s and 30s, just missing. They're not suicidal, they just vanish. You had a relative that had mental disorder. He's wandering around the street and he just vanishes for real. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? There's actually perpetrators out here doing things like this, or close to this, or worse than this. So yeah, man, just keep your eyes open, man. It's a cold world out here, man. It's a cold world out here, man. So salute, Stormy. This was dope.
Yeah, you know, to be able to come up with certain topics and everything. And again, this was a great way to kick off the first show of the year with a film that resonates on so many different levels, but something that is totally relatable to today. This film was made in 1994, guys.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're talking about 32 years ago?
Yeah.
32 years ago.
Somebody removed from high school for me.
Is not even 32 years of age. So, you know, again, this is why we do what we do. We do. Listen, man, I'll toot my own horn here, okay? When I came to YouTube, inspired by the General, and also the General and Black Fight Fan, I never knew I would be doing a show like this. However, through the trial and the adversities that I faced with people trying to steal content and everything, all it made me do was reach into my bag of self-development. And this was born of that. You know, Uh, there are people who have tuned in and watched this show with us. You can't tell me you haven't had a good time. You can't tell me that you didn't enjoy. You can't tell me that it's a waste of time or whatever, because there's always something relatable that we are able to contribute with this show. Some of the most fun time has been reflecting on like shows like Growing Up, Coming of Age. We've talked about music. We talked about trends. One of our most fun shows, Drew, was us talking about breakdancing and stuff. Remember that?
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
And how we, as a community, how everybody was like all mixed up together, whites, blacks, everything in the early mid 80s, doing all of that, man. It was so cool, you know, and a time to be proud of stuff, you know, and all of that is fun. And the show we did talking about, remember when we used to do Growing Up and jumping ramps with bicycles and stuff, you know, all man, we've had some really good content that we've done over here, and I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that. And guess what? It's not copying nobody. That's right. Original shit.
We're content creators, not content haters.
Yeah. You know, so and we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it moving, you know, until we're done, you know. So yeah, final thoughts, bro.
Man, excellent show as usual. You know what I mean? No matter what we do, no matter what we talk about, it comes from the heart. That's why we can never run out of content. And that's why while we talk about whatever subject we choose to, we become the subject of everybody else. And I actually, when I sat back and thought about it over the last few years, it's a badge of honor. When I'm your content, I'm like, wow, I must be really interesting.
Right.
This little 9,300 some odd stubs that I got, 9,330 subs. That's out the mud, no tricks, nothing. And I appreciate everyone that appreciates us. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
That's what it is.
So with that being said, we're gonna get ready to get on up out of here, man. Drew, thank you for your contributions this evening. We want to thank the General for joining us for another banger of a show. This was number 149. So one more and it'll be 150 shows that we have done of Nerds on Culture. And we'll be back next week with another show. I want to say salute to everybody that was out there. If you came in late, catch the replay. Don't be afraid to share the content. We get notified when you guys share the content, so do so. And follow me over there on Rumble. And also subscribe to my second and third channels, the Kung Fu channel and also the channel of Culture and Entertainment. We're trying to expand and grow the brand. That's what we're doing out here. And we can't get to ascension without your help. So we're going to get on up out of here. Appreciate everybody that was a part of it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Ha ha.